Okay, good morning, Mark. Good morning, Tom. Thanks for showing up to our weekly webinar. How are you guys?
Very good, thank you.
Good. I'm going to get going. I don't like to, make people who've been here on time wait any more than has to be, and we'll record this, so if anybody missed anything, they'll be able to get it on the recording. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of mute everybody, and then when we have open question and answer session, I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and you can ask questions. We'll go over anything you want to. Each webinar, we do this on every Wednesday at 10 a.m., and it's just kind of for you guys to come and learn more about EasyOrder, maybe learn something you didn't know EasyOrder did, or we'll go over a process that you may not be too familiar with. And then at the end of it, we'll open up to open Q&A. So if you have questions about anything else, we'll go through it. We'll show you how it works. We'll show you how to do it, and that sort of thing. This is available every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So you guys come back either just to learn something or whatever else. If you're not able to make it, we do record these and put them on our YouTube channel. Just search RemanResource in YouTube. I can also post the link to the YouTube channel. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. Today what we're talking about is setting up a customer that has multiple locations all over the country or all over your city or whatever it would be, but they have multiple locations and you want to service them. So one, we're going to talk about how to set up a big customer like that. And then the second part of the video will be how to set up purchasing for those people. So for example, if a location orders and then that goes to a purchaser for approval, we have a really robust purchasing approval system in EasyOrder that we'll go over and show you how to do. So first we'll talk about setting up that big customer, and then we'll talk about how to do purchasing, and then after that I'll open it up to question and answer and see if you have any questions on just this alone. So in EasyOrder, this is your control panel. Obviously, you log in here, this is going to be what you see. Your header may look different whether you're a cartridge world or an independent, but this is still the same guts of the system. And so we'll talk about how to set up a customer. Now my scenario here, I've set up a customer. I've just gotten a customer called Action Accounting, and this customer Action Accounting has 5 different locations all over the country. And I got into one location. I was able to sell them and show them I have this system that they can order with. And then now I'm going to set them up, and I'm going to show you multiple ways to set them up, so you know how to set up a large customer. So the first thing you want to do is go to Manage Customers. And this will be, again, where you have all your customers. And to create anybody new, you're going to click on New. This should be normal stuff to you guys. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to create this customer Action Account thing, and it's to my store. If you have multiple stores, you can select which store that customer belongs to. Yes, I want desktop branding. Yes, I want to lock prices for this customer's order form. Maybe I've bid pricing for this large amount of business. I want to make sure that this pricing is locked. I'm going to go ahead and lock that pricing column for special pricing. This means when you do your updates that it won't affect this person's pricing because you've locked their order form. Everything else is the same, attention. Now this would be their corporate office I'm setting up first. So I'm going to go attention, accounting. This is the 123 Wade Drive. Let's say they're in Austin, Texas. That's where we're at. Not Texas Q, just Texas 8660. And then I'm going to save this. Now what this does when I save this, it saves the main customer, Action Accounting. So there's like a main entity of Action Accounting, and this is their corporate office with this address here. When I click Save, the first thing it asks me for is, okay, let's add a location for Action Accounting. So the difference between a customer and a location is the customer is kind of the main umbrella name, and then the location here, this is the first set up physical location for Action Accounting. If this was a one account customer or one location customer, you just leave that there and create your order form, and that signifies that there's just one location for Action Accounting. But that's not what we're doing today. You may have done this quite often in your own setup, set up one location. But we're talking about setting multiple customers up. So I'm going to call this Action Accounting Corporate. Corporate there. And so, and then I'm going to give them a login. And with your logins, I'm going to turn this, I have this autofill thing on, trying to help me fill out forms, which is usually pretty handy, but I'm going to take that off right now. Dash lane, disable. All right, now when I come back here, it's going to go back. So it's going to go to, again, corporate. And then with the logins, when you have a multiple account customer, you want your logins to be kind of similar. And so it makes it easy for you to figure out, a naming convention for them. So I'm going to go AA001 for corporate. Okay, that way I can go AA1002 for the next one and 3 for the next one, and I can have a standardized username. You don't have to kind of think about the username, just throw it in there. So first name of the person that's at corporate, I'm gonna call this Sue Smith, and I'm gonna put my email address in here just for demo's sake. And then you put whatever phone number Sue has at that corporate office. Order reminder, again, just as is normal setup of EasyOrder. 60, 90 days is normally the case, and you want the system to remind you when they haven't ordered in that number of days. Go ahead and mute everybody again. All the new. All right, mute. Okay, cool. Yes. All right, so sorry, everybody's muted. So there's a phone number, and then there's an order reminder number of days. Here you can select which sales account belongs to that customer. So if you have salespeople, you can tag this account with the sales rep, their tax rate. These discount rates are discount rates that are over your normal discount price. And this is, again, standard setup. We'll just want to set up one in the traditional way, and then I'll get to the multiple. Delivery and shipping, if you know they're going to be X number of dollars away from you, you can go like $7 delivery and shipping, and the free shipping minimums at $100 order. Everything else is the same, shipping's the same, and I want to use the customer billing information because this is the same corporate address as we had before, but also corporate is paying for it. So I'm going to say use customer billing information, and this will make more sense in the next setup. So you'll have that there. So I'm going to click on save, and that's creating an order form, and then I'll just add one product to it. So it's a traditional order form, and I'll do my normal 2600 example, and I'll save that, put some cartridges in, save that, and then all the pricing's there. G means it's globalized, it's blue. That means I've set this price in the system before. When you see that G and you see that blue, so I know it's good to go. I'm going to click save, and now I have an order form. Okay, so now when I look at my customers here, I'm going to go to Action Accounting. I have one location set up, location name, one location set up, corporate Sue Smith under Action Accounting. Now, if you wanted to go the real traditional way of doing this, you could click on New under Manage Order Forms under this company, and you could create another location for Action Accounting. You just go New, and then give them a new location. So let's say this is, Austin store 001, or we'll do 002. And you could just create all this and fill all this out and rate their order form, and that's fine. There's easier ways to do multiple locations for a customer, and this is one of the things I'm going to show you. So you just go to Manage Customers, and you find Action Accounting here, and then basically you want to go to, you don't have to do anything with this point, because what you're going to do is you're going to export your list of customers. And this is going to give you the template that will allow you to import multiple customers at once, and then have all of them done in a really easy way, and you don't have to do it manually one by one. So I'm going to click on export, and this is how you get your customer data out. This is whether you're doing newsletter marketing or direct mail marketing. You want to export your list of EasyOrder customers, you always can go to export and export your current list of customers. I'm just going to save that to my desktop, and when I open it, it's going to have all my customers on it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything out but Action Accounting, which I just created, and then everything else down. So now what I'm left with is I'm left with a spreadsheet that has row 1, which is very important because this is what we call things. You have to keep row 1 in there because this is how we label our stuff in EasyOrder. So customer name, location name, their contact name, their login, their password, their email, their phone, bill to is all here, ship to starts here, and then, you know, any other stuff for the order form is all right there. But most of the stuff you want to deal with is right here. So let's say that I got a spreadsheet from Action Accounting, and I've gotten a deal with them, and they said, okay, you did so well with our corporate office, now I want you to do all our locations. So they send you a spreadsheet, and most of the time you're going to be able to copy and paste stuff from your spreadsheet into our template. And so whether that be the customer name or their email addresses, you know, whatever you have in the system, phone numbers, you can just copy and paste away from your spreadsheet into our spreadsheet, and then you're creating this. I'm going to have to create it a little bit manually, but it goes pretty quick. So I'm going to show you, here's how you do it. So let's say they have 10 locations, okay? So let's just do 5. So we're going to go Action Accounting, and then you can copy it down to the 5. 1 is taken up by the customer, you know, our field that we have to have in there. So there's 1 through 5. Corporate is already set up with the one we just set up. And so here you're going to name the location. So remember I was talking about, you know, you could name it Austin, you know, 002, and then you can copy and paste that down, or you just like, you know, Dallas 003, Houston 004, and I don't know, Abilene, I don't know if that's how it's spelled, 005. And then from here you can, you know, to do the different names, you know, Bob, Smith, Cat, Petrola, Sue, Johnson, whatever you got, just whatever names that people have, Joe Blow. And then for the logins, these are real easy to replicate in Excel. If you just watch my mouse change from a big plus to a little plus, and I'm hovering right on the corner, you just hold that down and drag down, and it'll give you sequential logins. So you don't really have to worry about creating a ton of logins or typing that in. On the password here that was set up from the previous thing, this is the one that the system generated. You can change that, so you can be like Action A1, you know, so Action Accounting 1. And they can all have the same password at this point if you want to keep it easy, or you can go through and you can change each password that you want. I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste this down. Let's just pretend like these are unique emails here that you've copied and pasted in to the system, and you would be copying and pasting, you know, that stuff in, and you would end up with, you know, 5 unique emails, you know, for the system. The phone numbers can all be different. I'm just, for the sake of the demo, going to skip that. And then, so here's where, you know, this is the bill to for corporate, and so this would be the bill to for each individual location. Now, if you're all billing corporate, it depends on how you have it set up. If they're all billing to corporate, then you basically can copy this whole thing down, and everybody will be billed to corporate. And then for the ship to, where it starts saying ship to up here at the top, you know, whatever you want to put on these order forms, let's just pretend it's all different information. And then again, the ship to information, you know, 234 Way Drive, just a different address. And so, you know, I'm going to copy and paste this down, but let's just pretend like these are all different ship to addresses, and you would copy and paste those from your details that you have for the company, and they would all have different addresses because these are all your different ship to addresses. Tax, if you know that they're non-tax, you can put zeros here, or you can, if not, the regular tax rate that you have will be there. If the order forms are locked, you just copy that locked status down. So locked is 1, and then the order reminder you can also copy down, and they all have an order reminder now of 90 days. So now that you have this multiple location customer set up in the spreadsheet, which I think is way easier than doing it one by one by one through the system, you basically just save your file. So save as, and I'm going to call this Action Accounting, and I'm going to save it to my desktop. And then I'm going to go back to it, and then I'm going to go back to my manage customers. And now instead of export, I'm going to choose import. It goes to there. And from that file, I just find my Action Accounting, which is right here. And again, you can, if you have multiple stores, you can choose which store it goes into, and then you just import it in. And so 4 new customers added, 5 items imported, successfully. So now when I go to Action Accounting, instead of 1 order form, by the way, this number indicates how many order forms are set up under that customer. Now you notice there are 5 order forms set up for Action Accounting. So I literally was able to create 5 different order forms with all their contact information, everything else for Action Accounting from the spreadsheet, and I didn't have to do it one by one by one. We have customers who've done 400 customers at a time. There's a new one coming on that's like almost 4,500 customers at one time. And so saving you the ability to do all this is just saving you a ton of time. Also with this, you could maybe take a spreadsheet export from your point of sale system and then put it into our template and then import it in. And then every customer in your point of sale system has an account. And then all you have to do is, as they order, you can go to their account and add their printers and then place the order for them and then show them how to order the next time. And so that's a great way to get people on EasyOrder. But now, you can see any order form that has items on it because there'll be a view link on it. That means there are items to view. If not, you have to get their printer inventory and you just go in and set up their order form just like before. But you've saved tons of time by setting up this multiple location customer, all at once. And you won't have to, you do have to do this part because there's no way for us to kind of import what printers they have. You can do it by template, but that's another subject altogether. And you just go in and add their items to their order form, and basically you just create the order forms for the customer, and you've saved yourself all the time of doing kind of the grunt work part, which is doing that. When they're all ready to go, you can check all of them and send their welcome emails. They need to have printers in their system to send welcome emails. If they don't, if you want to send the welcome email to the customer and you don't have printers on it, there is a way for them to add printers to the system. So let me log in to an order form. Basically, if you send them a welcome email and they don't have any printers, they wouldn't have this there at all. They would just have a blank order form. If they clicked on modify order form, they can go ahead and add their own printers and cartridges to the system. So you can essentially create all these order forms for people and then send them welcome emails and then hope they figure out that they can modify their order form and add things to it. But that's not really the goal of EasyOrder. The goal of EasyOrder is to get it all set up for them. And if they need to add something that maybe they get a printer after you're servicing them, they can add it by themselves. But the real goal of EasyOrder is not to send them a blank order form and let them do it, because a lot of times they'll just get to the blank order form and go, well, I don't have anything on my order form, and they'll call you, and there's nothing really telling them to go to modify order form. So make sure you set up their printers for them, send them their welcome emails when they're done, and that's how you set up a multi-location customer kind of on the fly with the spreadsheet type system. I'm going to unmute everybody and see if there's any questions about that particular process. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Kat, I'm sorry, this is Bill. Where
Hey, Bill.
do you get that Excel spreadsheet with your headings on it?
Sure. Basically, you just go to Manage Customers, and then right here at the top, there's Import Export, and you just export, and then you select your store and hit Export, and that'll export that list of all your customers from a CSV spreadsheet.
Giving me the, okay.
And then I suggest you just take out all your customers and leave this blank spreadsheet, and you can even save this to your own desktop and call it blank customer import, and just save that and keep that file on hand. So if you ever need to start with another customer, you have a blank customer import file just ready to go. Because all you need is this template with this row 1. A couple of things about this: don't save this as an Excel workbook. Keep it as a CSV format, which it's in right now, because when you upload it, it has to stay in that CSV format.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Any other questions on creating the multiple customers? No? Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to mute everybody, and we're going to go back to the next subject. Okay, so now that you've created all of these customers and multiple location order forms, you may have some purchasing kind of issues that you want to handle. Maybe each location orders for themselves, and that goes to corporate purchasing, and they just want to know about it. Maybe somebody at corporate purchases for all 5 locations. Maybe the locations order for themselves, and then the corporate has to approve that order, and then they have to get back to the location with an approved order. The last scenario is maybe corporate wants to know about orders, but they only want to approve orders over a certain dollar amount. Those are all the different kind of scenarios you can get into with the customer. And fortunately, we have a system built to where we can handle all of that stuff. So to handle purchasers for these 5 order forms, instead of going to the order forms, you just go right here to purchasing. And what this will do is allow you to create purchasers for an account. So just like anything in EasyOrder, you go to new. And there are two, well, that's sales accounts. There's only one type of purchaser. And so you put their username in here, and this could be anything. You could be action. I used to do CP in mine because I would notate that that person was a central purchaser with that username. So again, you can leave the password alone. We give you a secure one. And I'll call this, and I'll go, and then a phone number, whatever. And okay, so now I'm creating a purchaser. Now you see over here at location access, we give you multiple ways to tie this purchaser to different accounts. You could have somebody, let's say you have 100 of these, okay? And this purchaser is only a district manager. You could say, I want them to be over this one, and that's all they're over. So when you save it, they can only see those 2 locations. If you want them to be over all the locations and be like a legitimate central purchaser, just check all and it'll be over all the locations. And anytime they're checked, that means that when they log in with their desktop icon, instead of seeing one order form, they're going to see a list of all the order forms that are in their system, and then they're going to be able to send that out. I'm going to show you this in a sec. Okay, go to RemanResource.com. And then the last thing is approval. We have different approval levels. And so the way it would set right now with no approvals means that this customer doesn't need to approve. So when the locations order for themselves, or when the central purchaser orders for the locations, there's no approval needed between the 2 systems, or between the 2 people, the people ordering and the purchaser. If you do want to give an approval, let's say that each location orders and the central purchaser needs to approve those orders, you just set a level 1 approval, because that's the first level approval, and you can set all levels. And you can say, I want to set it to level 1. Click OK, it sets it all to level 1. And so what this means is that there's a level of purchasing that goes on between Abilene, Austin, corporate, and Dallas, to where they need to, when the location orders, the central purchaser, this guy, needs to approve. Obviously, you probably wouldn't want to do it on corporate. You'd give them access, but you'd say no approval because they don't need to approve themselves. And so this would kind of be the perfect setup for somebody whose locations are ordering and they want the purchaser to approve. And so let's see what that kind of looks like. I'm going to click on Save. So here's your central purchaser. You can also use central purchasers if, I know Paul had a question about this yesterday. If you have a customer that wants this icon on multiple desktops, you can also set just a second person ordering up as a central purchaser, because you don't want to give the same welcome email and the same icon to different customers, because when they order, you won't know exactly who placed the order. And a lot of times when you get an order in and it's incorrect, you can get a bunch of he said, she said stuff about, well, I think they ordered. Well, I think they ordered. Nobody knows who ordered. Well, with this, if you set them up as purchasers, they'll have their own icon, they'll have their own login, their own email address, and they will be able to place the order, and you know exactly where the order came from. So always keep that in there. So this is the central purchaser. I'm going to send the welcome email out to the central purchaser. I need to select them first. And then I'm going to open up my email. This is the central purchaser email. I'm going to click the download icon link. I'm going to do the bookmark just because it's quicker. And now this is the central purchaser link. So when I click on it, I just said open. Instead of seeing one order form, I see a list of order forms that I can, mess with. And then you can see the 2 order forms that have items on it, have the little sheet there, and then they can go into that specific order form. They can place an order for that customer, and they can put order urgency, they put their PO number, put special instructions if they want to, and they can submit the order. And it says the free shipping thing, and so they're going ahead and submitting their order. And it'll just take a second. Okay, And so corporate ordered the cartridge. Here it is. I apologize if you hear lawnmowers. There's people mowing lawns outside my office. So here's the order from the central purchaser. Everything's good to go. And because the purchasing person ordered it, the central purchaser ordered it, there was no need to approve that order. So I didn't get any approval emails. Once they're in a form, if they get to order and they're done and they want to go back to that list, all they have to do is click on the home button, and that'll take them back to this list. And then they go into a different order form, place an order for this company, and then go back home, and then they can keep doing that. Or like I said, each location can order. And let me show you that scenario. I'm going to go back in here and and I'm going to go to Manage Customers and Action Accounting. I'll go to one of the order forms and I'll click View. So this is like logging in as the Abilene customer. So I'm AA05, I'm logged in as them, and I'm going to place an order, and this order should trigger a approval email. And so I'm going to go Submit Order. And that's going to come through. And then so here's the approval email. And this is what the central purchaser gets. An order has been submitted for your review from Action Accounting Abilene, Bob Smith. To review and approve this order, click here. You click here, and that takes you to the order that's right here. Everything's good to go. They can approve the order or reject the order. They just approve the order. It goes through. And then my final email comes through as submitted and then approved. See, this one says pending approval. And then I just got one that said approved at the top. So that's how it works with a central purchasing system with a central purchaser. We have so many people who have this and use this with all their customers. So I thought it would be really great to kind of explain, how to set up a multiple location customer, and then talk about the purchasing process for that customer and how to work with the purchasers for that customer. I'm going to open up everything again. I'm going to unmute everybody.
Mike Babcock said on the easy quote, we can add verbiage at the bottom of the email that goes out to talk about their pain points.
Yeah, absolutely. With any quote, you can add your own verbiage to it. So I'm going to go here to Manage Quotes, and then I'll look at a specific quote. And when you have this area here, quote comments, this is where you can leave your own message inside of a quote. So, hate paying for, toner, whatever it would be. You can add that in there. And then when you click save and you preview it, oh, it's right here. Hate paying for toner. So if you have a more substantial paragraph other than hate paying for toner, it'll go under your thank you, stuff in there.
Thank you. I've been using that for just making notes on the clients, but I did not know that was available.
This one's for making notes on the clients because it won't show up on the quote.
Yeah.
So if you want to say, talk to John after, 30 days, you can put those in there and save it. And then the cool thing about this is when you go back and you look at it, notice this eye popped up here.
Yep.
And it'll show you these notes. Like, you don't have to go dig into the quote. You just hover over it and it'll show you the notes you have on the quote. Lots of salespeople use these notes just because they can either communicate to the owner of the store of like what they've been doing and what's their next point of contact with that customer and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can definitely put in your own message in the quotes for that. And also if you use there's two kind of quotes. There's the there's the advanced quote template, which if you set to yes, looks like what I just showed you. And then there's the simple template, which I believe shows you a little less information. So that could be more apparent. See how this is way more apparent in the simple version of the quote? Yeah. And so if you really want to get that message across and you don't want it to be hidden under the 100% guarantee kind of verbiage, then use the simple quote template to send a quote out to that customer that you're putting a note in, and it's much more front and center than it was on the other one.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Paul, Francisco, Bill, Lisa, any questions? Nope. Well, all right. This was our weekly webinar. This one was a quick one. Wait, there's a chat. Hold on, let me look. Nope, no questions from Lisa. So cool. This was, again, this is why we get together. We get together every Wednesday just to kind of talk about some things in the system. Hopefully you take some away that you've learned something from one of these sessions. These will be recorded. You can always go to our YouTube channel and check out all the webinars, all the videos that we do. They're all there on our YouTube channel. You can use those, embed those in websites if it's a demo or anything else. So I appreciate you guys coming out, and hope to see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kat.
Bye.